All right. Hi, everybody. Let's try that again. So sorry I'm late. We were kind of just relaxing this morning. I woke up early and as Will said, I got all fancy with breakfast this morning. So I found this recipe for a breakfast pizza. And so I made a breakfast pizza this morning. It was really good. We just used the Pillsbury crust, pizza crust, and then I made homemade gravy, and you put that on top of the pizza crust, and then you put scrambled eggs, cheese, bacon, whatever you want on top. If it was just for me, I'd put like some mushrooms and all kinds of stuff on top. But I know the boys wouldn't eat that, so we were just kind of relaxing, and Will was like, "Oh, you've got 2 minutes," so I had to rush and put on my Disney shirt and get my coffee and stuff. So welcome in, everyone. I will let a few people get jumped on. I know some of you have had issues with the little bell not telling you when we're live. So welcome in, Mandy, Brian, Dawn, and I know Will and Wyatt are watching in the other room. So welcome in, welcome in. As most of you know who watch our channel, we just got back from Disney World. And this was actually our first trip with a newborn. So this was Wyatt's third time to go to Disney. And, each time we've learned different things having, he went for the first time when he was 2. And then he went again when we were 3 and now 4. So each time we've gone, we've learned some different things along the way. But obviously going with a newborn in the summer heat is just totally different. It's a totally different experience. So this show is going to kind of help everyone when it comes to what you can do to stay out of the summer heat. But I'm also going to talk a little bit about if you have a child that you're traveling with, the best ways to kind of help them out. So first, just to let everyone get in, I have a few things that I want to show that I got from our trip. I know Will and Dawn have a lot more to talk about, but these are kind of the things that I got from our trip. So let me show you guys. I only got a few pins this trip. Normally we do a lot more like pin trading and stuff like that, but this time around, we just did not do a lot of pin shopping or pin trading. We did it every now and then, but just not a lot. So I got 2 Disney Princess pins that are part of a brand new Disney Princess pin collection. And so I got these right outside of the Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railway ride. And so obviously the first one I got is Pocahontas. If you know me, I love Pocahontas. So I had to get this one. And then I thought this one was just really cute. I got the brand new Little Mermaid, the live action Little Mermaid pin. So very cute. I actually thought this one was just really well done. So those are the only 2 pins I got from this trip, honestly. I think I pin traded for one, but it's on our pin board over there. It's a Pocahontas pin that we pin traded for at the Contemporary at the stand that they have right outside of the store. So those are the only pins I got. Let me start. Okay, so this one is one of my favorite things that we got. Hi, Tina. Welcome in. So this is something that I have wanted for like a couple of years now, ever since they came out at Disneyland. And we've had a friend whose family picked her up one at Disneyland a couple of years ago when they first dropped. But we saw this at the Animal Kingdom Lodge when we ate at Boma. We did some shopping there. And so I had to have this, and Will is a sucker for any cool Disney things like this. So if you don't know what this is a Scream canister, but it's a sipper. And it has this button on top. So you press the button. And then it screams. And you twist it back on, you fill it up with whatever, and you press it again. if you don't want it to go off again. So it has a lock on it, so that's good, although Wyatt figured out how to unlock it already. But this is super cute. You can see your drink. This is kind of a window per se, so you can see your drink if you fill it up. So really cool. I had to have that. And then Will showed one of our popcorn buckets on Tuesday's stream, but this is the new, it's relatively new, Timon sipper that came out for Animal Kingdom's 25th anniversary. They still had some left when we were there. And I got the Pumbaa popcorn bucket, so Will got the sipper. So his head twists right here, and you can fill him up with whatever drink you want. And then it pops open like that. So Timon's sipper, and I do have a picture of the Pumbaa popcorn bucket. I just couldn't get it down in time for the show. So he is super cute. Love him. We have the Simba popcorn bucket we got a couple of years ago. So when they dropped Timon and Pumbaa, we obviously had to have it. It completes the whole set. And then finally, my bigger purchase this trip is my Animal Kingdom Loungefly. So you can see the pink, greenish, and black color. It has the pocket, the 2 pockets on the side. I haven't even unpacked this one yet. Like, it's still wrapped up and stuff. So this one is one of the bigger purchases I had to have this trip. I'm not a huge Loungefly girl. I probably only have like three Loungeflies. This is my 4th. And so I had to have that one. It dropped at Animal Kingdom, and they have like a whole collection. So this is the print that's on. Man, they have hats. They have all kinds of stuff. So that's what I had to have. I didn't get the Spirit jersey or the hat or anything, but they have that print on pretty much everything your heart could desire. Will brought me the Pumbaa. So Pumbaa was also for the 25th anniversary as well. But his lanyard right here doesn't say that on it, but he was also for the 25th. But and by the way, did anyone know that Pumbaa only had 1 tooth? Think about that for a minute. Thanks, Will. Will brought that for me. So we were at the Flower and Garden Fest at Epcot, and there's the Lion King topiaries there, and it stopped Dawn and I in our track because we were like, does he only have 1 tooth for real? Like, we just was seeing it in the topiaries. We were like, and both of us thought the same thing. We were like, oh, some kid got up there and like pulled the other tooth off, whatever. And Will looked it up because Will was kind of like on the fence too. He was like, I don't know, does he only have 1 tooth? It's something that like you don't really think about. And he does. He only has 1 tooth. So did anyone know that? Because I guess we've never noticed it. Only 1 of those little tooths. So funny thing that you just noticed randomly. So somebody reminded me of something up here that I wanted to talk about, but now I don't know. Oh, Mandy said I would go between October and December. Okay, so June was not our first choice. This was because Will and I had airplane tickets that we had to cancel from a trip previously, and ever since COVID, Southwest, I don't know about other airlines, we always do Southwest. Southwest does not refund your money anymore. They give you like a code where you can transfer your flight, but I'm not kidding you, they don't even give you like a year to use it. They give you like 8 or 9 months to use your airline tickets. And so our airline ticket code or whatever was going to end in August of this year. So when we were talking about it, obviously we just had a baby at the end of March, literally the last day of March. So we weren't going to go in April or May. Like, we wanted him to be a little bit bigger before we traveled. And so thinking about it, we were like, well, out of June, July, and August, what's your best bet? Heat wise, obviously the beginning of June trumped all the other months. As the summer goes on, it just gets more busy and more hot. So definitely wasn't our first choice, but I would say we all did pretty well. I mean, I ended up sick the first day from just heat exhaustion. But other than that, I mean, we trucked along really good. Dawn went in the parks literally every day. And so I would say we did pretty good for ourselves, honestly. So let me share my screen here. And I'm going to start my slide. Okay, play from start. I'm going to get it up on my phone just so I know what it looks like, because when you have it on here, you can't. I don't know how Will's computer works, but mine will only let you see the screen that you're sharing. Okay. So, beating the heat at Walt Disney World, traveling with kids, and just beating the summer heat in general at Walt Disney World. It can be hot, but you can do it. It's not anything terrible for sure. So, first and foremost, packing with an infant, and I said a toddler, why it's obviously a little bit older than toddler age, but here are some of the things that like we have discovered are just must-have necessities when you are traveling with an infant and a toddler. I meant to get a bottle and one of Wesley's little formula packs too to show you what they look like, but you can use your imagination on that. So this neck fan that's at the bottom left-hand corner, you see a lot of people with like their holding fans. So this one just goes around your neck. It has a USB charging port, so you charge it every night, and then the little fans move up and down, around, so you can kind of put it where you need it. I would put it around my neck and put one fan on me and the other fan down on Wesley if I was holding him in a line queue. And so that way we weren't holding a fan. You also see people, they wear them on their neck. It's like on a lanyard and it's like a little box with a fan on it. So this one I found on Amazon. They range anywhere from like, I believe the cheapest one I found is $10. The most expensive one I found was like 20, 25. I will say with the neck fan, this is my third trip using it, I believe. And it would die on me after, I don't know, 5-6 hours of use. That was the bad thing. Like the first time I started using it, you can just tell the battery life is not as good as it used to be on it. And so it's still one of my favorite things to bring. Use it during the hottest part of the day. Save your battery energy for the beginning of the day. Thanks, Will's bringing me stuff. So that's what I have found that I like to use just because you don't have to hold it. The other fan at the top, that is a stroller fan, and it's super nice because you can move the little legs on it and wrap them around a stroller. You can also put the legs down and it kind of sits up on the table. So there were times that, you know, Wesley's an infant, and so when we would sit down at sit-down meals, we would prop the fan up on him so he could just kind of cool off faster. And so that fan honestly lasted all day. It has the same thing on the back, a little USB charging port. You charge it at night. It lasted literally all day in the park. I never had an issue with this one dying at all. They make smaller ones, bigger ones. And so that is on Amazon as well. I think I spent like $12.99 on mine plus whatever shipping was. And so I do recommend at least one or two of those, depending on how many kids you have. And then the bottom is a stroller organizer. We used this for the first time this trip, and we found it super helpful. We had just a variety of like wipes, hand sanitizer, all the things that you need to reach for frequently were in that little pocket organizer strapped to the stroller. It made it so much easier. Hi, Dean. Welcome in. It made it so much easier to find things instead of like looking through your backpack or looking at the bottom of the stroller. It made it so much easier to find certain things with that around the top of your stroller than it would be digging in the bottom of everything. And so we have also, you know, I could just hit myself sometimes with how much money we've spent on water bottles, not even thinking about the fact that you can bring in your own water bottle. So this one is Simply Modern. It looks like the ones on the screen. It's a Simply Modern water bottle. I think it holds 32 ounces, and it's metal. It's not heavy though. It's not a heavy metal. There's a straw in it. So we take this into the parks. We fill it up with ice and water. The ice stays in there all day. It does not melt, which I really like. And then it has this little hook, so you can hook it to your little stroller hook that you see people in the parks have. So this is definitely a lifesaver. Bring this into the park. You can refill it at all the quick service locations. And one of our waiters at the Diamond Horseshoe actually gave us water cups, like full water cups, so we could dump it in our water bottles. Because I'm here to tell you, the last thing Disney wants is a guest to pass out from heat exhaustion or have to go to the hospital. So they are all so nice when it comes to giving you water. Actually, I think Will and I found a quick service location by Pirates, and we just asked for water cups, and it seemed like it wasn't something they necessarily just do all the time, but she got it for us and gave it to us, because seriously, that's the last thing they want, is someone to pass out from heat exhaustion. So don't feel bad asking for as many water cups, because they will give them to you. We've also found that Wyatt does better when we bring his own cup. So this one is one of the Munchkin brand's spill-proof cups. So you can like turn it over and nothing will come out of it, because it has this little thing right here. So nothing comes out of it if it's just dumped over. So we found that Wyatt just drinks his own drinks better out of this. No one likes those paper straws either. So let's just be honest. No one likes those paper straws. So that's what this looks like. And then we, obviously going with an infant this time was different. We've never done this. So I kind of asked around, like, what's the best way to travel with an infant? What do you use when you're traveling with an infant for like formula, all that kind of stuff? Because my baby's formula fed. So we have his bottles, and then we use these little plastic containers that are the same brand as his bottles. So you just take the lid off, you fill it up with formula, however much formula you need. The lid goes back on, and then it has this little part that you take off, and then you dump it in the bottle like this. So we obviously, you don't know how long you're going to be in the park. Sometimes you don't know if your car is not going to work, if the buses aren't going to run on time. You just never know the circumstances when you're traveling with an infant. So we tried to pack at least one or two extra throughout the day. You can always get more water at the parks to fill up your bottles, but we always tried to have more formula on hand. Now, there are places in the parks you can buy formula, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Of course, it may not be your brand, so it's always good to travel with more just in case. Okay, so pro tip from your friendly Mickey Travels travel agent. This is our exact stroller that we have. It's a Graco brand, and it what do they call it? I don't know, it moves around. So as your baby grows and as your kids grow, this grows along with it. So you can see there's an infant carrier at the top, and then the bottom is more for a toddler age kid. So this is the one that we have. This is seriously your pro tip. I have heard, and now we didn't have much experience with it because we weren't on the Skyliner we did use the monorail, but we weren't on the Skyliner. I have heard that Disney is less likely to make you break down a stroller that looks like this than they are the side-by-side strollers. So, you see people in the parks that have the side-by-side strollers that take up way more room. This one doesn't take up as much room, sideways. So these, I've heard, If you get on the Skyliner, they won't make you break them down. They never make you break them down on the monorail. Now, as we were entering Magic Kingdom on the first day, they were making some people break down their like strollers that were the side by sides. I did notice, but these that are there's one in front and one in back of the seats, they're less likely to make you break these down. So that we never had to break it down in the park, which is just amazing because we had things hanging from it, we had things under it. It was just it would have been a mess to have to break this down all day. So again, I do hear it just depends on what kind of cast member you get, but that is what I've heard, and it worked out really great for us. And now this is something we'll have going forward because you can take the infant part off, it comes off, and then there's a little seat underneath, so you can have, once Wesley gets old enough, Wesley can sit in the front and Wyatt can sit on that little part on the back. So yeah, those side by side strollers are way too wide to fit on the Skyliner and the monorail, so they normally will make you break those down. Now, I know it just depends. Like if you're riding the Skyliner, I don't know, at like 3 in the afternoon and the line's not very long and it can fit, I've heard they may not be as picky. But we traveled with some friends last year that have that side by side stroller, and they had to break it down everywhere. And it was exhausting because then you have to like unload it and then reload it and then hang things off of it, get your kids out of it. So it was just exhausting to watch them load that thing and unload it. And so that's my pro tip. Even if you just get a stroller that's made for Disney, I recommend getting this one. And then we don't have one of these. But if you're in the park, you see tons of people with these stroller tags that have their names on them. You can get them on Etsy. You can just print out a colored piece of paper and laminate it. I've seen all kinds of stuff, all kinds of creative things. I don't really feel like I need one because I always can find my stroller. But, I know people they put balloons on their strollers. My stroller has never been a hard one to find. Honestly, Will and I have taken 2 strollers now to the parks 3 different times, and we've never had an issue finding our stroller. But I guess if you have like a really popular stroller that everyone has, you may want a stroller tag. Again, they can be as cheap as $5, but you can spend upward. I think I saw one that was like $50. Another thing that people do is they wrap like twinkle lights or glow sticks around their strollers so it's easy to find at night. Will and I have never done that, but it sounds fun. Yeah, Will said it makes it much easier to identify your stroller. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Stroller parking is one of those things you park your stroller, and when you get off your ride, don't expect your stroller to still be there because they have the stroller attendants that kind of move them around as people come in and out. And the reason for that is you don't want these gaping holes just everywhere in stroller parking. You want to make it easy for people to get in and out with their strollers. And so they move your strollers frequently. So it does make it easy to identify for sure. Some other things that I pack pretty much every trip, no matter if I have a child with me or not, is obviously that sunscreen right there. It's a travel size. Now, I recommend getting at least 1 or 2 of these, but only taking one into the park a day. Um, yes, a stroller cover. We did not have a stroller cover, and the reason for that is they're just really expensive, and I just hate spending money on a shower curtain type thing. Now, I have seen people though, for real, they'll go to the dollar store and they'll get like 2 or 3 shower curtains and they will put over their stroller when it rains. They make actual stroller covers, but you're looking at like $50 for a piece of plastic. And then you've got to find one that matches the dimensions of your stroller. It did only rain on us one day, I think, and it was just very brief. The stroller dried out pretty quickly in the summer heat. Um, yeah, you put ponchos over your stroller. I've seen people put trash bags and stuff over their stroller as well. Just please make sure your child isn't in the stroller when you do that. Um, that's my other tip. Okay, so welcome in, Tiki Man fan. Okay, so the sunscreen, it's easier just to have like a smaller bottle in the park. We did have the larger bottles at the resort that we used in the morning, and then we carried around the little one, and I tried to apply it. Uh, I don't know, at least every 3 to 4 hours. Sometimes I was really bad about it, but especially if you're traveling with a baby, make sure to get that on them. Sunburns are not so good for infants. These wet ones, I at least buy 3 of these at Target or Walmart or wherever you shop. And I use these on the stroller. Like, I'll wipe down the stroller frequently. I'll wipe down tables, hands, whatever it may be that you may feel you get germy. And so I carry these. I had one in my bag and then one in that little stroller organizer, so it was easy to just get out. I also carry Neutrogena face wipes too. If you're like me, you get really oily anyway. I love to have some face wipes to just wipe my face down frequently, especially with all the sweat and sunscreen. It just makes you feel refreshed. I'll also wipe down my arms and hands and sometimes my legs with it. It also, if you buy the Neutrogena ones, it also has a really good scent to it. It's like a fresh scent, and it makes you just feel better throughout the day. I used it on Wyatt some too, on his hands and his arms, just to help. Now this next one, obviously this is not me or my baby, but I have a carrier that looks similar to this. Now, heed my warning on this. I used this in the airport where it was air conditioned. Um, do please, please, please be very cautious if you have an infant of where and how long you use this. Um, Studies have shown that putting your baby on one of these can add 20 to 30 degrees to your baby's body heat and temperature, especially when it's already hot outside. So I never used this in the parks. Even when we were in line queues, we held him just to get him some airflow, because I just didn't feel like it was safe to strap him into this, with it being so hot. But it definitely came in handy in the airport and on the airplane. Now they do make you take him out of it, or your baby out of it to land. I do not know why. Didn't really irritate me that much, except then I had to put him back in it once the plane landed. So that's the only thing. They let you carry him at takeoff and everything, that you just have to take the baby out for landing. I don't know why, but you do. Um, and so again, really good for airport, air condition. It may even be a good thing to have November, December, January time, but just beware. It does add, I mean, your baby's strapped onto you, so it adds to the temperature. So all right. So we actually took full advantage of these baby care centers this trip. Every park has a baby care center. Most of them are centrally located or at the front of the park. If you know where the first aid center is, you're going to be able to find the baby care center. They go hand in hand. They're always together. All these facilities are open during regular park hours. They're fully equipped and they're all complimentary. So there's a private nursing room with rocking chairs. Some of the parks I noticed have like individual nursing rooms where you close the door, you're the only one in it. Some of them have just like a general nursing room where you can like turn your chair away. The door still closes, but be aware there may be 1 or 2 other people in there. There's changing tables and a changing room. So you're not really in the front where everyone's walking in and out. You kind of go to the back and there's little changing tables. There is a restroom. So there's like a family restroom in all of them, which is really good because you don't get the family restrooms if you just use the regular restrooms throughout the park. So if you have like a 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old that still uses the restroom with you, that needs a diaper change, whatever, or a pull-up change, or just needs your help, find these baby care centers, because they will allow you to go in and just use the family restroom. There's also feeding areas with high chairs. I did not know that these had high chairs in them until we were at Animal Kingdom. And Animal Kingdoms is actually the biggest baby care center I read. I wouldn't say it's the nicest one, but it's the biggest one for sure. They do have high chairs. So if you're looking to feed your baby or just let them, relax in a high chair and watch a movie or, just enjoy the air conditioning, that would be a great place to do it. There's also a equipped kitchen with a microwave and a sink. So if you have to wash anything or you need to warm up something, that's always there for you. There's one main room with a television and tables and seating for your kids, and there's also table and seatings for the adults. On site, the shops offer formula, baby food, juice, diapers, wipes, sunscreen, over the counter medications, and clothing for purchase. I'm sure that they offer all of that stuff. It's like Will's dad kept saying every morning when we left the resort, "Do you have everything?" And then he'd say, "Well, if not, Disney will sell it to you." So it's true. They have pretty much everything you could need. It's handy because there could be a time, honestly, I had to lend a lady at the Contemporary some wipes because she had run out and she didn't even realize it. And so that it's handy for things like that. We had to buy some wipes at the Contemporary ourselves because then I ran out loaning her my wipes. So these kinds of things come in handy, especially, I mean, not just with an infant. We saw people in there that had older kids as well. And it's really nice to just be able to kick back for an hour or two and let them get out of the heat for sure. Um, Yeah, Will has a good point. Magic Kingdom's Baby Care Center was the cutest. They had just rethemed it to Alice in Wonderland. So I'll talk a little bit about that on this. So Magic Kingdom, where to beat the heat. Obviously the Baby Care Center is what has the little star on it. It's right down Main Street. You'll take a left by Casey's Corner, and it's literally right in the middle of Casey's Corner and Crystal Palace. If you wait back there long enough, that's also where the marching band um, like comes out to do their little performance around the hub. So the baby care center and first aid center are located right there together. Um, and I will say too, we use the baby care center a lot. And I'm not saying the whole family has to go in and sit down and chill in there. I mean, we would take turns just to make sure Wesley was getting some air conditioning. And then the first aid center, I will tell you 100%, do not be afraid to use this first aid center. Dawn reminded us just a few days before our trip, start hydrating now. And I honestly, like, I have a water bottle that's Simply Modern brand that's bigger than this. I think it's like 55 or 60 ounces. I was trying to drink at least one and a half of those a day leading up to the trip because what you drink today is hydrating you for tomorrow. So you don't want to start drinking water when you get to the park, it's too late. I was trying to hydrate, um, but with flying and everything like that and traveling, it's hard to stay hydrated. And so I actually ended up with the worst migraine. It started around lunchtime when we were at Crystal Palace. So I started trying to down the water. I did have a Coke or two to kind of help. Caffeine helps with my migraines. I ended up in the first aid center at Magic Kingdom on our first day, and I honestly was so thankful. They were so nice. They provide free drinks, medication. They allowed me to lay down as long as I wanted to in the air conditioner on a pillow. She said, you just have to be out by park close. That's it, unless there's an actual emergency. But seriously, do not be afraid to use it. There were several people in and out when I was there that had like heat related issues, but they have like free Gatorade, free water. They allowed me to lay down until I just couldn't handle it anymore and I had to go back to the resort. But Again, don't be afraid. They gave me some medication to help my headache and it was free. You didn't have to pay for it. So find the first aid center and the baby center. That's my pro tip. Um, yeah, hydrating for real before your trip. I'm just so bad at drinking water anyway. So try to get some Gatorade. There's what are they called? Will might know. They're like a coconut water juice, body armor, I think is what it is. I can't drink it because I do not like coconut water or coconut juice. But body armors are apparently supposed to be really, really good for you to stay hydrated and keep up your electrolytes. And then obviously each park has certain rides and shows that are indoors and have indoor queues as well. And then restaurants during this heat, I really do recommend having at least one table service meal a day, and then pick a quick service location with indoor seating. And so Buy has it too. Yes, Will said Buy. The body armor is the one I was thinking of, but Buy has it too. Um, um, Another pro tip, if you don't get a reservation when they open 60 days out or whatever, keep trying. Even the day of, we were able to score a reservation because Will's dad looked at us and we were in line for Pirates and he looked at us and he was like, "We've just got to get this baby out of the heat today. So let's see if we can find something that's like sit down." And so that's why we ended up at Diamond Horseshoe the last Magic Kingdom day. Just we needed to get out of the heat. Dawn was on like 450 days of parks and her feet were killing her. She needed some water and some food. So we decided that was the best option. So always, always, always check the My Disney Experience app throughout the day. Because I mean, literally, we scheduled for like 120 at like 12:45. It was like crazy. So we just walked off Pirates and went straight to our reservation. Okay, so at Magic Kingdom, there are some indoor rides and attractions. These include Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid, Hall of Presidents, Carousel of Progress, Space Ranger Spin, Mickey's Fill Our Magic, Small World, Winnie the Pooh, Peter Pan Flight, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, and Country Bear Jamboree. Some of these have little stars on them. Those are to let you know either the entire line queue is inside or the entire attraction is just inside. So Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid, if you get in that line and it's 30 minutes to an hour, you're going to stand outside in the line queue at least 10 or 15 minutes before making your way inside. And then once you make your way inside, it goes faster. So Hall of Presidents and Carousel of Progress are one of those things that you walk right in. Hall of Presidents is a really good one because they do shows, I think, like every 20 or 30 minutes. So you could kind of sit in the air conditioning before going into the actual show. Carousel of Progress, I think, is like a 22, 23-minute long show. So you're in, the rotating, whether you like the show or not, it gets you out of the heat and there's really never a line. And so Space Ranger Spin, half the line is inside, half of it is outside. So you're going to be waiting in the heat a little bit. And let's just be honest, over there in Tomorrowland, there is no shading where that line queue is. So we saw some people that were waiting in line for that ride at one point for like 60 minutes. And they were outside pretty much the whole time. Mickey's PhilharMagic, basically the line queue starts inside. It never has more than like a 10, 15-minute wait. You're basically just waiting for one show to get out. Small World is a really good one to get out of the shade. The line queue just isn't actually inside per se, but the ride is. Winnie the Pooh, the same thing. You're technically still waiting outside, and that ride isn't very long. It gets you in the shade for a little bit. Peter Pan Flight, same way. Pirates, you're looking at, I want to say most 90% of that line queue is inside and you're inside for the ride. Haunted Mansion, most of that line queue is going to be inside unless you get stuck outside for way longer than you should. And then if you do get stuck outside, just take note that is right where the sun is beaming down, so it can be really hot. And then the Country Bear Jamboree, you wait for the show to start inside, and then you're in a theater. So Country Bear Jamboree, Hall of Presidents, Carousel of Progress, and Mickey's Fill Our Magic are things that I highly recommend doing. A, when lines are really long, or B, at the hottest part of the day. So like from 2 to 5-ish is when you're just dying. Um, so those are what I kind of recommend. Even Hall of Presidents, just go in there, sit on the ground. Everyone's doing it. Take a load off. I even put Wesley down and kind of let him stretch out his legs and stuff. So just don't be afraid. I mean, you're still at Disney. You're not. I don't think you're wasting time, because if you get sick and have to leave, you're gonna waste even more time than just sitting at Hall of Presidents relaxing. All right. So, some restaurants plan one table service meal a day, especially in this heat. So, some of these table service options include Crystal Palace, Liberty Tree, Diamond Horseshoe. I have that twice. I don't know why. Um, Cinderella's Royal Table, The Plaza, Tony's Town Square, Skipper, Canteen. Those are just some of my favorites. If you're looking at Crystal Palace, it's like a buffet style. Liberty Tree and Diamond Horseshoe are all you can eat, but you stay seated. You don't have to get up and constantly go get food. Most of these are going to take about an hour, hour and a half of your time, sometimes 2 hours, depending. But pro tip here, you can get a Coke, a lemonade, whatever you want, but also make sure that you get water as well. So anytime we went any restaurant, we always said, hey, can I have a Coke and a water, or a Gatorade and a water, or a Sprite and a water, or a tea and a water, whatever it may be. Make sure to drink as much water as you can at these places. Eat if you eat meat or anything like that, try to eat more protein than normal, because you're outside, you're sweating, you are burning calories like crazy. So try to eat as much protein as you can to really, really try to make up for all the calories you're burning in the parks. Quick service meals that I love. That's okay, Tina. I'm chatting enough for all of us. Don't you worry. Um, Quick service meals, I recommend Pecos Bills, Cosmic Ray, Gaston's Tavern, Pinocchio Village. These are all places that have inside seating as well. Now, Gaston's is going to be a little bit smaller, so it may be a little harder to get inside seating, but I've never had a problem getting seating at Pecos Bills or Cosmic Rays. Pinocchio Village sometimes fills up really fast, especially towards the Small World window. But again, these are some really great places. My mom actually is in Orlando right now with her students for like a conference, and they went to Magic Kingdom. They literally flew in and were at Magic Kingdom, I think at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that. When she started feeling faint, she went to go sit in at Pinocchio Village, and she said it was actually the best gluten-free pizza she has ever eaten. And so that's another thing. They have really good food for any kind of dietary needs. And so she loaded up on water and pizza, and then she felt better. So these are just some places I recommend eating to get you out of the sun. Obviously, some of these have a higher price tag than others, so it just depends on what you're looking for. All right, Epcot was our second day. Oh, Columbia Harbor House too. You're right. I totally forgot about that. It's not one I've ever done, but it's always looked good. So maybe one day I will get to do that. So Epcot, there again is a baby care center. Their baby care center is not towards the front, really. It's more towards the middle. It's located right next to the Mexico Pavilion. So that's where the little star is. You can see the Mexico Pavilion. The first aid center and the baby care center are right there where the Sunshine Tree Terrace, I think is what it is now, the little indoor building. They're located right there. In Epcot, we actually did not use the baby care center. At least I didn't. I don't know if Jeff or Don took Wesley in there to change his diaper or not. I'm not sure. But I actually didn't use it at Epcot. Epcot was one of the places that we found the easiest to stay out of the heat, honestly. So that first aid center is right there. And then again, meals, it's hard at Epcot to choose some indoor meals, but there are some options. Rides and attractions, there's not very many rides at Epcot, so it's going to be harder to kind of find those areas. But again, we had no issue finding places to sit in the air conditioning at Epcot at all. So indoor rides and attractions, you're looking at the Three Caballeros, Living with the Land, Nemo and Friends, Spaceship Earth, Journey with Figment, Soarin', Frozen Ever After, Remy's, Guardians of the Galaxy, Turtle Talk with Crush. So out of these, Spaceship Earth, Living with the Land, Nemo and Friends, Remy, Guardians, Turtle Talk. Those are all going to be like your main places to where you can get out of the heat in line and in the ride. Also, most of these have places like the Three Caballeros. Do some like just walk around inside, get out of the heat. There's things to look at, there's things to buy. Obviously, there's things to buy. Living with the Land is a whole pavilion. So if you walk into the Living with the Land pavilion, you can always find a table. You can sit down, you can relax. Journey with Figment, pretty much that whole line queue is inside. Spaceship Earth, pretty much if it's a walk-on, if it's anywhere from 5 to 10 minute wait, you're walking on and you're going to go right onto the ride. Turtle Talk with Crush and that whole Nemo and Friends exhibit is a really great place to just sit and relax and get out of the sun for an extended period of time. My dog and cat are fighting, excuse me. So we started off our morning and it was already pretty hot at Epcot on our day. We took turns riding Guardians of the Galaxy, and we did the virtual queue, and then we bought the individual lightning lanes. So we obviously have an infant who can't ride, so we took turns between the 4 adults riding this ride. It took about 2.5 hours to complete all the switching and stuff. So we just sat in Connections Cafe for an extended period of time. It is really cold in there. Honestly, it's like they've got the air turned up real good in there. So we just kind of swapped out. And so that kept Wesley out of the sun for a good 2.5, 3 hours of the day is sitting in there. And so I wasn't as worried about him going into the rest of the day because he had spent so much time inside. Any table service meals there are going to be really good to get you out of the sun. And not just table service, but again, that Connections Cafe is a quick service option, and there is tons of seating in there, literally tons. That Nemo and Friends Aquarium is going to be a really good place to go. Not a lot of seating in there, but honestly, people sit on the floor. Don't feel bad about sitting on the floor, out of the way and resting your feet. The Land Pavilion, again, is another one to just kind of sit and relax in there, get some water, take a break, eat a snack. And then one that I've never done is Norway Pavilion has a Norwegian mythology exhibit. It's going to be, if you're looking at the Frozen ride, it's going to be off to the left. You can kind of go in there and look around. It gets you in the air conditioning 5-10 minutes, which, that's pretty good. And then the Chinese Pavilion, indoor seating, and there's a show in there. So the Chinese Pavilion, if you walk into the main entrance, there is going to be indoor seating area that is supposed to be for you to sit before entering the show. But a lot of people I saw, they were just sitting there continuously. And then when you get in the show, there aren't any seats, but honestly, most everyone sat on the floor just kind of to relax. It's a pretty good show. Will really enjoyed it because he's been to China before. So he was like, oh, I've been there, I've seen that. So it was really cool. And then this is my picture from the Citrus Blossom. This is a really good place to get a smoothie or a drink, water, and relax indoors. There was people like sleeping in there, just taking a break. I saw a mother breastfeeding in there off to the corner. So it was a really good place to kind of just sit and relax. We honestly sat in there, I would say 30 or 40 minutes. Dean was with us this day too. So Hi, Katie. That is so fine. Yes, Connections Cafe has their refillable stations too. So, and there's also, I think, a Starbucks in there. So you can get water from Starbucks as well. So honestly, at Epcot, we had no problem staying out of the sun. It's hard at Epcot too because you know the if you're on like the Mexico to France side of the World Showcase, the sun is beaming down on you over there. And so it's really hard to stay cool at Epcot. But with all of these tips, we ate a later lunch at Nine Dragons and we took our time in Nine Dragons. We drank water, we filled up. And then when we left, it was probably 2:33 ish. So we headed straight over to the Chinese pavilion. Will and I fed Wesley and changed him while sitting outside in the shade with a fan. And then we went inside and we enjoyed sitting down in the air and then doing the show. So it kept us out of the sun for the larger part of the hottest part of the day. So Animal Kingdom was closer to the end of our trip, so we were obviously tired and hot. We did have a rest day before Animal Kingdom. Again, there's a baby care center and first aid center that are located right next to the Starbucks and Pizza Fari. So you can kind of see right there as you're entering the park and you're looking at Discovery Island. It's kind of off to the left hand side there. And so it's going to be tucked away a little bit behind Starbucks, but it is there. Animal Kingdom's baby care center, I wouldn't say is the nicest, but it's definitely the biggest. There's a lot of room to kind of chillax. We utilized this, I think, 2 or 3 times on our Animal Kingdom day. Indoor meals, you have a lot of different options for indoor meals here. And then rides and attractions, you have a lot of rides and attractions here where you can stay cool out. You can ride, or you can do it's a tough to be a bug like 19 times in a row. All right, so indoor rides and attraction, some rides. Navi River Journey, Flight of Passage, It's Tough to Be a Bug, Dinosaur, and Kali River Rapids. Kali is obviously going to get you soaking wet, so that's going to be one that if you just want to get really, really wet, go for it. I don't like to get wet at the Disney parks, but it'll definitely cool you off, so go for it. Navi is one of those rides that I love. I love Navi. I don't think it's long enough, and most of the line queue is outside. But if you rope drop this or do it last thing at night, you are not waiting in line and then you're cooling off in the ride. So this was one of the rides we did literally 10 minutes before park closed. We got in line, walked right on. We got out of the air, we rested, or we got in the air, we rested our feet, and then walked to the car. So it was a really nice ride to kind of end your day with. It's relaxing. Um, I'm sure some people take a nap on it. And then Flight of Passage is one of those that I think that they've done a pretty decent job now with the line queue being pretty much fully inside. When this ride first opened, Will and I waited, I don't even know. I don't even want it's embarrassing. I think we waited 2 hours, maybe. I don't know. It's really embarrassing how long we waited. But half of that line queue is pretty much outside. But now they've got it to where you're roped in, crisscross so much inside that we never really saw people waiting outside for it. And so this is a really good one. The line queue is really cool. If you don't lightning lane it, it has some really cool details to it. So it's nice to kind of look through the line queue and get you out of the heat for an extended period of time. And then obviously as you're riding the ride, you feel the water splashing on you and it feels really good. So that one's a good one. It's Tough to Be a Bug. Pretty much the whole thing is inside. You've just got to rope around to get into the tree. It takes a while to get into the tree, but once you're in the tree, it's really shaded anyway down there with all the trees. So once you're inside, waiting, Oh, I don't we waited maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes max, but you're still inside, you're in the air, and then you walk in and the whole show is in the air conditioning. And on this day, we actually got into the tree, and I guess it started like pouring down rain as we were in the show. We walked out, it felt cooler outside, it was pouring. We just waited under the tree for the rain to go away. And then we left as soon as it was just lightly drizzling. So that's another tip too. If it starts raining, don't leave. Sometimes it can make your day a little bit muggier, but some people, especially pass holders or locals, will start to leave when it rains or it gets really bad outside. Wait it out. It's okay if you get a little bit wet. It'll cool you off a little bit. So wait it out. And then Dinosaur, the line queue is pretty much fully inside, and so is the ride. There's also a store there that we waited in while we were swapping off riders. Um, Attractions, Conservation Station, you ride the little mini train over to it, and most everything you do there is inside. There's some really cool stuff. If you watch the Disney Plus show, oh, I can't even remember. It's like the Animal Kingdom show. That's where they do some of their surgeries and stuff like that. So sometimes if you get lucky, you may see an animal in there that's being worked on or something like that. They also have drawing classes in there. So it's a good way to get out of the heat for an extended period of time. Obviously, Disney loves for you to go in those stores. There's a Starbucks there by the baby care center, where there's no seating inside, but at least while you're waiting in line, you can get in the air conditioning. Festival of the Lion King is a really good one. We hit the first show of the day, actually, where it rained while we were in the show. But they start seating, man, I want to say 15, 20 minutes early before your show. So get in line, get seated, and then you enjoy your show in the air conditioning, and it felt really good in there. We also, while we were waiting for the show to start, was a really good time. You can mobile order something to eat. So we mobile ordered our lunch while waiting, even even though it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. It just, we weren't wasting our time standing around mobile ordering later in the day. So and then Mickey and Minnie meet and greet at the Outpost. This line stays 30 to 40 minutes all day, but I will say it's completely inside. So if you don't mind waiting and you don't like rides or you've done everything, this is a really good one in the middle of the day to get you out of the sun. And it's a really cute meet and greet. It's one of my favorite meet and greets I've ever done. And so crowds do. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone to read. I just can't see any of the comments on my computer right now. So these are some really great options. What I didn't put on here, I don't even know why I missed it, but I did. So some of the options for eating here, we always like, oh, it is on Animal Kingdom. Okay. Let me get it up here. Dining at Animal Kingdom. We always prefer to eat at, okay, so there's Pizza Fari inside, there's Rainforest Cafe. We always like Satuli, and it's nice because they don't allow you to sit inside unless you have ordered food. So that helps a lot for people who order food at Satuli. You mobile order, go pick it up, and then they allow you to sit inside. So there is outside seating, but the indoor seating is reserved for those who have ordered food from them, which I super like that. It helps. We've never had a problem finding an indoor seat there. And actually, this time they allowed us to sit at a bigger table for 6, even though we technically had 5 bigger people and 1 baby. So it allowed Wesley the chance to kind of spread out on the bench and kind of kick around and play a little bit. So we always enjoy Satuli. We never have any issues there. The food is great. Tiffin's is another one you can sit in. And so we have never had We've never had issues finding a seat. Now, I will say for some odd reason, Will and I have talked about this before. Animal Kingdom has always seemed like the hottest park to me and the most muggy. And I don't know why. Not maybe the hottest, but the most muggy of the parks. So I honestly don't know why, but Will and I have always felt like it feels so muggy there. But again, we did some shopping. We took our time at lunch. We enjoyed, all the attractions that we could to kind of stay inside, and we pretty much stayed, I mean, park open to park closed, and we did good. So one park I did not put on this is Hollywood Studios. We only took Wyatt to Hollywood Studios. Again, they have a baby care center, they have stuff like that, but Hollywood Studios is one of those things that's tough to do with an infant, Will and I felt like, and Will's dad only had 4 days of park tickets and we had 5. So, and then obviously Dawn has her annual pass. So he offered to stay back that day and keep Wesley at the resort out of the sun. And so we really enjoyed our day at Hollywood Studios. First of all, it was really hot that day, and trying to get things done at that park with an infant was going to be extremely hard. Um and then we had lunch reservations at Rodeo Roundup Barbecue, and again, that was a really really fun place to get out of the heat for sure. And we made that reservation. I got that reservation for like 2:15. So that was like the hottest part of the day was starting. So it got us inside. But again, Hollywood Studios, there's the Frozen sing along, which is hilarious, by the way. I do recommend doing that. That gets you out of the heat. There's also still the Star Wars launch bay where you can meet characters. It's indoors. There's some fun things to do there. But it was just one of those days we decided just to take Wyatt, and Wyatt did really well, honestly, in the heat. He never really complained or anything. He's 4, so he had his typical 4-year-old moments, but it wasn't bad. All right. Another thing, if you need a break from the heat, don't be afraid to leave the park for a brief period of time. There's so many resorts really close by. Just ride the buses around, ride the Skyliner or the monorail. We rode the monorail on our last day. Before we got on the plane, we did Steakhouse 71 for Father's Day lunch. Not our last day. It was like close to, it was our second to last day. But don't be afraid, especially if you have an annual pass or anything and you're there at the hottest part of the day. Just get on the monorail and ride it in a circle for an hour. Like, you're still at the park, you're in the Disney bubble. It's better there than it is at home. Yeah, Katie, Toy Story Land does need shade. It was hot, hot, hot at Toy Story Land for sure. The sun is beaming on you. And so if you need a break from the heat, even the Skyliner, I know there's not air conditioning on it, but you're sitting down, you feel the wind rushing through the Skyliner, and it's a pretty view. I enjoy the view. So don't be afraid. Like, just get on a bus too and take a bus to the all-star resort and then come back. It gets you sitting down out of the heat for a little bit. So drink some water during that time, go to the Contemporary, do some shopping, eat some snacks, stuff like that. So to wrap it up, I put some of my favorite pictures on here. It's hard to pick. Will and I have just made the decision not to put our kids' faces on YouTube yet or social media, like around a lot of people that we don't know. Obviously, I have them on my personal Facebook, but we've just decided to keep their faces off YouTube for now until they're a little bit older. And so it was hard to find a lot of good pictures just because they're in so many. But here are some of my favorites. Will is up there with his good cousin friend, who's Liver Lips or whatever his name is. So he found a country bear to hang out with. And then we did a lot of meet and greets at Animal Kingdom. So that is Chipmunkosaurus down there. Chip and Dale were super cute. We hit Chip and Dale and Daisy and Mickey and all kinds of stuff right there. So we enjoyed all those meet and greets. And then Will and I rode Tron. And actually, it's a hike up there to Tron. But I will say it's shaded. So if you're waiting for somebody, it is shaded. It can get a little bit hot up there, but it's out of the sun. And also there's the Tron gift shop as well. So that was a really good place that Dawn and Jeff kind of chilled with Wyatt and Wesley while we rode, and then we swapped off. And so we rode Tron twice this trip. So we got into the virtual queue both days. And then we set up rider swap when we got to the park so that Will and I rode it, and then Dawn and Jeff rode it while somebody watched the kids. Wyatt's still a couple inches away from being able to ride this one, so he was not able. And then Will and I rode Rock and Roller Coaster while Dawn hung out. I can't remember where she hung out. She tried 2 different places. It was closer to the end of the day, so some things were closing. So Dawn and Wyatt kind of hung out in the shade and the air conditioning while Will and I went to go ride Rock and Roller Coaster. And then up at the top is our meet and greet with Pooh Bear at the Crystal Palace. So these were some of my favorites. Here's some pictures of Rodeo Roundup Barbecue, and then obviously my Joffreys. We got off of Tower of Terror that Wyatt rode for the first time, and he actually really enjoyed it. So we told him that he got a treat for being a big boy and riding it. So he got a Joffrey's donut, and those things are huge. And then I got a Joffrey's coffee, and we sat in the shade behind the coffee cart once you exit Tower of Terror. So we kind of chilled in the shade there. And then obviously Rodeo Roundup Barbecue, so good. Highly recommend it. I thought, like Will said, is it going to change your life? No. The desserts may, but it was still like such a pleasant experience. We got out of the sun and had just a wonderful, wonderful time. So highly recommend that. Some of my Epcot pictures. This I absolutely love Encanto. It's one of my favorite movies Disney has put out in recent years. So we stopped at the beginning of the day and the end of the day and got some Encanto pictures in front of Spaceship Earth. And I think they turned out really good. And then Will was so nice. So we were trying to make it to Remy's because now this is the downside to Genie Plus is that you're on Genie Plus's time frame, you're not on your own. And so, we had stacked so many things that we were like over here, over here, over here, over here, running, 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 running. And Will went ahead really fast, but he got us the lavender, what are these? Like the lavender lemonades, I think is what they are. And my ears are cute. Which ones, Katie? The ones, these or the Remy ones? And so we got this lavender lemonade. First time for me ever getting it. It was super good. I drank that up so fast because I was dying of thirst and heat exhaustion. And then we ran to Remy after that. And we were coming from, oh, thank you, Katie. We were coming from, I think, Spaceship Earth. So we went from Spaceship Earth all the way to Remy. And by the time we got there, I think we were all dead. We hustled hard. So this was a nice, refreshing beverage that we drank around the World Showcase for sure. These Remy ears I actually got last April when we went on the ride. And then these Magic Kingdom ears right here actually came from Amazon, but they came from one of my Mickey Travels teammates for Christmas. So Violet Lemonade, that's it. And then here is me at the beginning of the day when I wasn't so sweaty and hot. We started off here and took pictures. Loved I just love these. I could stare at this all day. And then Will and I it was like the second day of our trip. It was our off day. We had dinner at Boma and it did not disappoint. So this is us in the middle at our table. The picture to the left is where we sat. And it was such a cool atmosphere. I just loved it so much. And then on the right is where is like the lobby and the entrance of Animal Kingdom Lodge. And I know this is Tina's home park with Disney Vacation, or her home resort with Disney Vacation Club. I would love to eventually stay here. We looked around on the savannah for a little bit and we took our time at Boma. It's a buffet. You can eat as much as you want. We didn't feel rushed at all. And we ate kind of earlier for dinner. So there weren't many people there when we got there. It started getting busier as we stayed there longer. But when we first got there, there really weren't that many people. So we really enjoyed our meal. We probably went through 5 or 6 plates a person. So yeah, we really enjoyed it. We had a lot of water at this dining location as well. And then we did some shopping. Magic Kingdom Day, the band, and then obviously a Disney duck, because who doesn't love the Disney ducks? And then this is the watermelon refresher from Tron, the Energy Bites. And I am so glad that we got this when we did. I wish that we would have gotten one of the snacks because they have completely changed their menu now at the Energy Bite food stand by Tron. There is no more yes, Amy, we all stayed off site this trip. We have a timeshare. They have a timeshare there. And so, as much as I love staying on property, this saved us a ton of money to allow us to do other things. We may not have had as many sit down meals or bought as much merchandise as we did if we would have stayed on property this trip. So we were in the same resort. It's a 2-bedroom and it has a full kitchen, a dining area, and a living room. So it was nice for sure. So again, I am so glad that we got this watermelon refresher at Energy Bites because they have completely changed the menu now. I think they've gotten rid of most everything except the little donut bites. And then instead of the watermelon refresher, they now have some kind of pina colada slush, which still sounds good. But I'm glad that we got this when we did. This was so good. It had a very rich watermelon flavor. It was very sweet, and then it had like little pop rocks. And so it was just so refreshing, honestly, and I really enjoyed it. Super glad that I got it. We got 2 of them. Each time we got off Tron, we went ahead and got another one. Super refreshing, really, really good. And this cup that they came in, it's like a really hard plastic. Like if you wanted to keep this, you probably could wash it out and keep it. We ended up throwing ours away. But hey, if you get it 4 times, you have a whole place setting. So there you go. You just can keep buying these and stock up for your house. But no, it was really good. And I'm glad that we did it. I do regret not getting some of the other food items that they had there, because like I said, I think that they've done away with most everything on their menu now, and I would really like to know why, because it's not that old. So I would really like to know why they've changed their menu. Maybe things just weren't selling, I don't know. But again, I stopped by there. I'm sure the pina colada slush is just as good as this watermelon refresher is, for sure. And then this was us on our last day of the parks. We were tired, we were sweaty, we were sunburned, we were hot, but we were sad because we had to leave. It's always the worst when you have to leave and you look back at the castle one last time and you get all sad. But we were tired, so we were glad to get home for sure. Counting down our trip to Disneyland now in December. So we have stuff to look forward to for sure. But this was our last day. Snuck a picture in with the 100 right before leaving. And then this was Animal Kingdom. I honestly think the atmosphere at Animal Kingdom is so cool. I loved just snapping random pictures of the decor and the buildings. And this is what I get at Satuli. I always get the shrimp bowl with the noodles and then like the garlic sauce. It's the green sauce. It is delectable. It is literally, it is so good. Will and I also got the cheeseburger pods this time, and they are fantastic. And I will tell you, someone described them as tasting like, I wish I put the cheeseburger pods on here. I don't even know if I got a picture of them. I ate them so fast, honestly. Um, Somebody described them as like sloppy joes, but to me, it literally tasted like a really expensive McDonald's cheeseburger. But I love McDonald's cheeseburgers, so I thought it was really good. But yes, this bowl is what I get every time. We got dessert there too. We always get the dessert. It's their desserts are really pretty and taste really good. And they change out some of their desserts, so it's really fun to enjoy that meal at Animal Kingdom. And then of course there's my Pumbaa popcorn bucket. I took this picture. I was being all artsy for Instagram, you know. So there is my Pumbaa popcorn bucket. My cat just knocked everything off my husband's desk because he is being a cat. And now I'm distracted because I hear Lion King music coming from the other room. And so this is my Pumbaa popcorn bucket. It's like I was so excited they still had them, and now my cat is fighting on these animals. And so this was like the one thing I wanted, and it was so funny because Wyatt literally dropped it probably like 2 times, and I was like, "Son, the one thing that I wanted and you dropped it. Like for real." And so we had to pop the piece back on, but he made it home on my carry-on. I made room for him on my carry-on in my backpack. It probably looked real funny going through security with this pig in my backpack, but he was coming home with me. So he matches our collection of the Timon sipper, and our Simba popcorn bucket. So really excited about that. He's super cute. And that is the end of my slideshow, but I did want to show you guys why it couldn't hold on to that popcorn bucket. I know, I'm telling you. I was like, what are you doing, Wyatt? I was like, geez, the one thing I wanted. And so that is the end of that, but I did want to share something with you. So as you know, I sell Scentsy, and honestly, I'm really sorry guys if you've tried to buy something from me the past couple months, because I noticed that I did not update my new credit card information, and so my website shut down. So it's now back up, and let me show you. Okay, let me show you something because these just dropped today, and honestly, I am not even tried to buy one, and they're probably gone, and I'm gonna hate myself. But so Will, if you're listening, get on this. So my website is jbone18.cincy.us. These just hit at 2 a.m. this morning, so we'll see if they're still available. It's time to celebrate Disney 100 years. Oh, they're still available. Okay, Will, chop chop. So this is the 100th celebration Scentsy warmer, and I am not even kidding you. It's probably one of the cutest things I have ever seen in my life. So it obviously looks like a film strip. And I mean, literally, you've got everything on this from Steamboat Willie to Lilo and Stitch to Monsters to, I mean, literally, it's just crazy what they put on this. So, that's the same side. Okay, this is a different side. So you've got Bambi, Peter Pan, Beauty and the Beast, Rapunzel, Cars, Pooh Bear, Elsa. And then I wish, here we go. So there's some more. There's Nemo. I think that's Moana down there too. There's some Cars, Jungle Book, all kinds of stuff. I mean, they killed it with this one. And so this is what wraps around the top part. I mean, like, hello, how cute is that? And then this is the dish where you put your wax in. I mean, hi, hello, so cute. I'm obsessed. I want one so bad. They are adorable. I'm not kidding you. Tina, if you want one, just go to my website. And you order it straight from there, jbone18.cincy.us. And you'll see it right. I mean, literally, it's the first thing on the page right here. You'll go to Shop Disney 100. Um, there's the Scentsy warmer, and here is the wax bar. So we have the 100th anniversary wax brick. It was a brick, and they call it a brick because I'm not kidding you. It was like this big. This one's just the wax bar, so it is littler. This is larger than life orange, red berry, and sweet peony capture the wonder of the happiest celebration. So these are what you put in the warmer. I typically only use 1 or 2 at a time, and they last, I mean, at least 3 weeks. You'll stop smelling them, but guests will still smell them. Super cute. So if you want these, again, you can buy them straight from my website. The link is dropped in there. So again, this is like one of the cutest things I have ever seen in my life. Again, it is $85, but they now let you pay in 4 parts with PayPal. So I know a lot of people do that, but look at how cute this is. I just can't even. So that is that. So let me go back to this, stop sharing. And then, as you know, here's the link to it that will drop. This will take you directly to the Scentsy warmer. So, and I would buy these because they probably will sell out, and then you'll have major FOMO because you'll see everyone else with one, and who knows if they'll be back. Disney never really tells us anything. So they may be back, they may not. So if you want one, I would get it now. And then last but not least, let me share one more thing with you. That's not very cute, but it's there. Okay, so as you know, I am a travel agent from Mickey Travels. Some really awesome deals for fall and Christmas just dropped. I have been busy getting some very merry Christmas party tickets for clients, and you are more than welcome to buy those from me. So if you would like any help with anything, planning a trip or just getting after hour tickets, even if you're a Disney Vacation Club member, I can still get park tickets for you. I can get tickets for the water parks for you. Anything that you need, I am here to help you with. And what's good about using me is that even if you just buy a 1-day park ticket from me, I will send you tons of information. I will help you through Genie Plus, and I am there for you no matter what. So if all of these things that have changed, it gets confusing and it gets hard to handle, but Mickey Travels always updates things immediately for us travel agents to send to our clients. Right now, the bounce back offers just came back too. So if you're traveling between July 1st, which is today, into blah, 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 whenever, we don't know. If you are traveling, you may receive an email from Disney that tells you you can get 35% off your next trip if you book it within 7 days of your last day. So let's just say your trip starts today, it ends July 7th. You get that email. You have 7 days from then to make a purchase for your next trip, and I can do that for you. Whether you book that first trip from me or not, I can do your second one for you. It just has to be called in, which is also another good thing about using a travel agent is that you don't have to sit there and wait on the phone call. I mean, I'm not kidding you. Some of my Mickey Travels people were on the phone with Disney trying to get Oogie Boogie tickets for 6.5 hours the other day for clients. And so that's the good thing about using me is that you will never have to wait in a line queue online or on the phone. I do all that for you. So there is my email, jbone@mickeytravels.com. My phone number is there too. You can always text me. And then Mickey Travels Jillian Bone is my Facebook page. I also have a TikTok and an Instagram. My TikTok and Instagram are Pixie Vacay Planner. So I've posted some TikTok videos about some of the new things that have come to Walt Disney World. So please make sure to check me out. Even if you don't need a travel agent, you can always send people my way. And if you do send people and they book, you may get a special little Disney gift card from me in the mail. So I've done things like that before. So please send people my way. It's just something I love doing. I am also getting into Universal as well. And then I can book sandals, resorts, and stuff like that. So as soon as I get on board with Let's Adventure Travel, which is owned by Mickey Travels, I will send all that stuff out as well so that I can do Universal, sandals, and other cruise lines. So I'm really excited about that. So please send people my way, or if you just need help buying a one-day ticket, I'm here for you. I would love to help you. And with that being said, thank you so much. This has been a longer show than normal, but just so much information. We really had a great trip. Do not be afraid to go in June with kids. We managed perfectly fine. And in fact, I think it's been hotter in Texas than in Florida. At least in Florida, you're at Disney and you're having fun and you don't realize how much you're sweating. So again, if you need any travel tips or help, please book through me and I will help you through it. I would love to help you. Seriously, it's a passion of mine. Please like this video, share it out to all your friends, especially if they have kids and they're traveling. We would love to help them. If you have any questions, comments, you can always email us. We have our direct messenger on Instagram, or you can send us a postcard at our PO box. We love getting postcards. Dean is super good about sending us postcards. We've got some from him. We love it. Tina, no, they didn't, but that's okay. Just, you know, if you have their information, I can always email them as well. But just send people to the Hitchhiking Bones YouTube. Come hang out with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We love to hear from you. Again, we love getting mail. We love getting emails, so don't be afraid. Check out Stickermule and Epidemic Sound. We use those. Thank you for Dean at the live place. And thank you to Monarch Moments, our partner channel. They were live last night. And then Jeff from Diz Our Dream normally go live on Sunday mornings, sometimes most of the time in Animal Kingdom, so make sure to check them out. Thank you to everyone who has listened and liked our channel and subscribed thus far. Make sure to ring that bell so you know when we go live. We have lots of videos that we're trying to crank out. Dawn, I'm sure, is working on that Tron video, since that has just become a joke. I'm sure that's what she's doing. And then we have other videos we're going to start cranking out from our trip. So thank you so much. I enjoy it. It's fun. Sometimes it's hard to stop talking about Disney. But again, there is always room for one more on our Hitchhiking Bones YouTube channel. So make sure to hurry back. Bye, everybody. Have a good Saturday.